Well, today I had the great pleasure of interviewing Ian Crichton. You may know him from Saga, but he's got a new group he's with called 6 by 6 and they are a trio. They have a second album coming out in April. We're going to talk to Ian right now. So, really nice to meet you, Ian.
Yeah.
Tell me now, were you born in Canada?
Yeah, I was born in Oakville, just beside Toronto.
Okay. Yeah, I'm from St. Catharines, so
Oh,
um, perhaps you remember in 1981 playing Brock University, the
yeah,
spoons opened up for you. I was
yes.
there. You remember that one?
Uh, I, I don't remember the gig, but for some reason I remember being outside the front of the building talking to an old school friend.
Oh,
Now,
interesting.
now that you mention that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was a fantastic concert. I was there with a bunch of my friends and my brother. Very curious, how did you end up in a prog band? Is this something that you planned or did it just work out that way?
Well, can you hear me?
Yeah, very good. Mhm.
Uh, well, it's, kind of a long story. I mean, I started at a very young age, learning guitar, and I grew up with, Jimi Hendrix, Jeff Beck, Clapton, Page, all these guys. And then when I got to 15 or 16, moved on to like Gentle Giant and Mahavishnu Orchestra and all this kind of stuff, which brought me into the prog world. And, long story short, I was in a band before Saga when I was a late teenager, 18, 19, called Kickback, playing around Ontario, Quebec. And in those days, you could play Monday to Saturday for 40 minutes of sets a night, right? There was a lot of playing, a lot of practicing, a lot of, much more than touring, where you go and you do 2, 3 shows. But anyway, my brother Jim was in his first recording act, Flood. And the Pilling brothers, Brian and Ed Pilling, ran that show. And Brian was 26 and he acquired leukemia. So he passed away and the band ended. And my brother Jim decided to start a new band. We were called Pockets at first. And I got it. I quit my band, joined, got right in there at the beginning. And Mike Sadler was in there because Mike and Jim were in a band before that called Truck, doing progressive music, Gentle Giant, Genesis, all that stuff. So that was the connection. Steve Negus was in Flood. He was also in Kickback for a couple of months, right at the very end. I played with Steve before Saga, yeah. And that's really how it came about. So my taste changed over the years.
Wonderful. Now, and now you've got your brand new project. Well, actually, not brand new. You got a second album coming out next month,
Yeah.
6 by 6. Um, so as far as I can tell, you've never quit Saga. You've been part of Saga since the start. And this is kind of is it a side project, would you say? Or has Saga, I guess you've kind of retired. What's the status there?
We haven't retired, actually. There was a lull there. Michael Sadler left in 2007 and returned in 2010, 11. In the meantime, we had a new singer. We did a record. Rob Moratti did the Human Condition record, which I was very happy with that record. It was a different kind of Saga. Um, and then we just continued on. So, we ended up doing another record. We did an acoustic record, was our last one, Cemetery. And we've been touring ever since. So I'm off on Monday with Saga. We're going to Panama, Venezuela. And then next month, we're doing a show in Toronto, which I kind of refused for a few years because I don't like the venue, but it's Kids for Cancer. So I went, okay, let's do it. So we're playing Toronto May 23rd in this Hollywood building. I'm not sure exactly where, but yeah, 23rd of May. And then we have 5 shows in June and a few shows in July in Europe. And then a great big fall tour. It's going to last about 6 weeks. So
Excellent. That's
Yeah,
good
so
news for Saga fans.
yeah, so you know, it's still going. As far as you know, Six by Six is a new band, so I'm not really considering it a side project at all. I would like this to be a full band. I've always sort of dreamed about being a three-piece band, and now I am. And we have our second record coming out. We just got confirmation that we have three booked shows in Europe in September, possible two more. And it looks like we're going to be playing Prog stock outside New York City, October 18th, 6x6. And I was talking to the promoter in San Juan, Puerto Rico, which was my first real concert. That's when Saga was, you know, we were playing all the clubs and the smaller venues, always. And we got a call back in 1979, 80 that we had a great response in Puerto Rico. So I went down there and we filled an 8,000 seat arena. So that's really warmed in my heart, San Juan. And as it turns out, on AZ Rock Radio, promoter said we've been number one for 2 months with 6x6 song "Save the
Wow,
Night."
excellent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, you know, it's a slow go. I mean, after COVID, everything business wise kind of changed because, as we know, hotels, planes, you name it, restaurants, everyone lost some money. So promoters are a little shy about, you know, divvying out, you know, a guarantee and all that stuff. But you know, we're getting around it. It's you know, we got some shows now, so I'm pretty excited. Really, pretty excited about doing this.
Awesome. Yeah, I was going to ask you if 6x6 were going to tour, and that is exciting that it's a trio. And I'm the same as you. I think trios are really exciting. There's tons of great trios throughout history, and it's proving that three is kind of an interesting number for a band. I did read in the previous interview that you were kind of excited that this was Saga was a synthesizer guitar band, and I agree totally. It was the perfect quintessential band to put on a nice stereo. I remember listening to your albums. They had such a pristine quality of production, like Silent Night, and for example, in the '70s. And then comparing now, I've heard 6x6. I've heard your debut. I haven't heard all of your new one yet. The debut blew me away. Honestly, it was fantastic. It did remind me a little bit of Van Halen a bit too. So
Really,
yeah, like it reminded me. There's which track was it? Not their original singer. I forget it.
Sammy.
Sammy Hagar. Yeah, yeah. It reminded me a little of them there. So tell me a bit about
Uh,
producing in a not to your mind, eh? Yeah.
no, not
No,
at
no,
all.
no, no. Just a tinge of it. It doesn't sound to me like Saga at all. It's not like Saga 2 or anything, but it's an original project and it's really exciting. So obviously you're excited about it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. The new album comes out April 26th, and I was just down in San Francisco doing a third video, and yeah, on we go. We're coming.
Where are you based, Ian? You living in the States or?
No, I'm living in Canada, just outside Toronto.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you lived in Germany or something. Is everyone living where are you all living in 6x6 now?
Well, in 6x6, it's Robert, lead singer, bass player, Robert Berry. He lives in out just beside San Jose, California, south of San
Okay.
Francisco.
Yeah.
Nigel Glockler from Saxon. He married an American lady, and he lives in Dallas. They were in England, but they've just moved back to Dallas. And I'm up here in Canada, so we're kind of spread out, you know.
hmm And how about in Saga? Is it the same deal, everyone everywhere or?
Um, let's see. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike Sadler lives in Missouri. My drummer lives in Munich, and Jim Gilmore and our new bass player, Dusty Chesterfield, lives in Toronto. So, and I'm out here. So,
Okay. Now, a friend of mine, he wanted me to ask you, what did you think of the replacement for you for Saga? And the only thing I could find was there's a tour maybe that you didn't play with Saga. Is that true?
we got to go there, eh? It's my evil past.
Oh, okay.
I'd rather, you know, Yeah, yeah. Can we move on?
No, that's fine. We can move on. The Human Condition. I actually managed with the same friends who saw Saga in 1981. We at Brock University. We also saw the Human Condition album with their singer Rob Moratti in Toronto. Actually, it was a club near the waterfront somewhere.
Phoenix.
And yeah, the Phoenix. That's right.
Yeah.
And um, I remember I was sort of sad that Michael Sadler wasn't there, but I really did like the album. I think it's a much more of a modern what would you call it, prog metal kind of approach. It was a little harder edged for than Saga had usually been.
Yeah.
Um, and you had that singer and a different singer. So how did that work? Was it really challenging having a different singer, or did this all fall into place?
Well, it was quite difficult actually to find somebody in the first place because I couldn't find anyone that to sound like Michael Sadler. You know, he's got his own voice. So then I tried, and then it became okay. I got to find a great singer, you know. And we looked and looked, and we had auditions on the net and stuff, and some of them were pretty funny. Um, and then I found Rob Moratti. He was in this band Frontiers, and I saw his video, and very commercial music, but his voice and his look was like wow, you know. So then we held an audition. There was another contender from a Frenchman from Montreal, Rick Hughes. He was in a band called Sword back in the 80s. And he was really good. And then there was four or five others. So we held an audition um, at Metalworks, actually. And Rob won hands down, you know. So that's how that all started, you know.
I wanted to move just quickly, touch on guitar tech because I'm sure there's going to be some people watching this who are guitar players. I consider you in a top tier player. Like I'm going to be doing a video soon. My favorite, what I consider my best guitarists, and you're on that list. Um, I was very influenced by your sound. Is, for example, on Silent Night. To me, the late 70s, you had a really cutting edge sound. Like, were you using boogie amplifiers at the time?
Well, let me think way back, you know.
Yeah, that's a while ago.
Let me just say, when Saga started, I had no recording experience at all. I was 20 years old on that first record. So where do I plug in? I was playing live shows. I had some experience with that, but it was really under the production of Paul Gross, who helped me out. I can't remember exactly the amps we used. I had a Marshall. Um, no effects really. You know, I've always been a very dry player. I don't really use effects. I do after the fact a little bit, like live, for instance. The sound man can put a little space on me, or a little quarter note delay way in the background, just a little. But I'm dry on stage always,
hmm
and yeah, I mean, it just must be my fingers really, or something, in the guitar. I was playing, the first five Saga records. I was using my Fender Stratocaster, which I'm in love with, 1964 Strat. That's, sound single coil pickups, um, and just, tweak the sound and away you get,
hmm And you're a tube man for sure.
I am. I've tried
Yeah.
a lot of things. We did a last studio record. I actually wasn't very happy with my guitar sound because I used plugins, and in the studio it sounded quite good. When I heard the back, it was like, oh man, I could brush my teeth with this sound,
Mm.
But so I'll never do that again. But I prefer, I use I have a Soldano, 100-watt Soldano, 180-watt diesel Herbert amp from Germany, 412 cabinet, and with vintage 30 Celestrian speakers in it. and I'll mic the front and mic the back, and and away I go. Really, you know.
You mic the back?
Yeah,
Is that a
little.
common practice?
Oh yeah, people do all kinds of stuff with mics.
Yeah.
Ambient mics all over the place, and
Okay, I see. Yeah,
right
yeah,
and
yeah.
tight in the front. And.
Right. So you can kind of hear the box more or less, right, around the
Yeah,
speakers
yeah,
or
you get some bottom. A
yeah,
lot of.
yeah, yeah. Well, that amazes me. That you are, like you say, like a dry player. You don't go overboard with effects, if anything, really.
I tried having effects with a delay years ago for one tour, and we don't play to a click, so that delay would not be in time a lot of the times, and that was really bugging me. And I just went off the hell with it. I mean, the big halls we play, for me, there's enough ambience and reverb just in the room. So even though it's dry, I don't feel it so dry. And also, the out front sound man gets a real direct signal. Like there's no fooling around and no reverbs or anything. He gets right from the fingers to the strings through the PA.
Right.
And out front, if he wants to do a little something here and there, he can do it perfectly. You know.
Yeah. Gives them some freedom. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And not messing around with mine. So if I had something going in there, a delay and all that, and then he puts one on, it's just messy. I like to be tight. And
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Well, does that translate into your personal life? Are you a very punctual person?
am I tight?
I don't know, just throwing that out there. Um,
Well, I like to be. I can't say I'm always am. I don't get struck by lightning here, man.
Also, I would say you compositionally, you're a really unique player. Like, for example, a lot of your songs with Saga, you're playing single notes. You go da 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 da. Da. I mean, it's very staccato, um, very melodic, super melodic. Um, Almost, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like when I listen to Saga, it sounds like you're influenced by classical music. Maybe I don't know if that's uh, is, the keyboards. Maybe he's more classically inspired, and
He
then
is. Yeah.
you're. Oh, okay, I see, I see. So,
I'm more influenced in Irish music, Irish bands, jigs, and all their thing.
right. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. Because certainly a fiddle is a single note, da, 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 that kind of thing, dancing
Yeah.
around. Okay, that's interesting. Now, I also heard you say in a previous interview that you're self-taught. Do you had no guitar lessons whatsoever?
No, never.
Wow. Have you ever had a student and taught somebody?
I
Maybe even
tried.
your kids?
They're not interested. They were never
Okay.
interested. I tried. I was asked at a music store. I tried it for a few weeks, but these are young players, and they need a proper teacher, not this guy that's doing all this stuff.
Yeah. Well, you could have like a master class. I could see you doing that, have a master class. I'm sure you draw a bunch of more advanced guitarists who'd love to see or hear you talk about playing. That might be cool if you ever did consider that.
Well, I'm pretty busy, Dean. I got this new band, and I got
Yeah,
one.
fair enough, fair enough. I also read that you have three children. And so they're not interested in music because it's funny how kids are that way. That sometimes they are, sometimes they're not.
No, they're not at all, except for Nathan. The oldest. He's dabbled in film work, and he set up interviews for me sometimes. And he's not a musician, but he's in that world.
Back to the guitar thing again. How do you do your solos? Do you record like three, four, five solos and then kind of maybe use part one of this solo and part five? Is that how you write your solos, or do you compose them and show up in the studio ready to do them?
What, are you behind me when I'm recording? I mean, yeah, I do blow two or three solos, and see what's working with that. I mean, for me, it's, it's perfect when I know what the vocal is doing. Because sometimes when you solo and there's no vocal on the song, and then the vocal goes on, you go, I could have, would have better like that. So I prefer to solo with at least a vocal going into the solo and coming out. So it just makes more sense.
Okay. And what gauge is string? Have you been consistent throughout the years, or have you tried different gauges?
A little bit. I've tried the 10 to 46. That doesn't really work for me. So I went back to 9 to 42. And I was using the Ernie balls, but they were snapping on me a lot. So I changed. I've tried the hybrid ones where it's 46, 36, 26. And then the top steel ones are 16, 11, 9, split set. That's kind of cool because you got, some a little bit heavier on the bottom and still light on the top.
Is there anything that we haven't covered that you want to talk quickly about? Maybe
Yeah, well, 6x6,
okay.
we're pretty excited about getting this out there on the road. And we got some shows coming up. So that's pretty exciting. We'll be in rehearsal at the end of August and playing in September and October.
Awesome. So you've mentioned the dates earlier, and obviously your website is you got Facebook, you got yeah, 6x6band.com.
Yeah.
The new album's called Beyond Shadowland, which I'm
Yes.
really looking forward to digging into. The first album, really, like I say, I was pretty blown away. It's super fresh. Um, it's sort of coming as a Saga fan. Any Saga fans are going to really enjoy it. Plus, I think you'll win a whole new audience as well. And
Yeah.
the classic trio going on there. That's really great. So. Yeah, so I wish nothing but good for you and all the band, and look forward to. I just did a reaction to one of your songs, and I think I'll do a full review for sure of your albums when I get to hear them all the way through a few times. And so I thank you for your time, Ian.
Okay, Dean. Nice meeting you.
Good to meet you too. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, have a
St.
good
Catharines.
St. Catharines. Yeah, yeah. I was born there, so.
Where are you now?
I'm living in Vancouver Island in Victoria, BC now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But you know what? Brock University, my dad actually designed whole sections of that place. He was a designer, architect.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a pretty cool looking university. I don't remember if you remember how it looks, but it's got the 70s modern look to it. It's pretty awesome. Okay, so thanks again. Have a great day, Ian. Take care of your teeth.
yeah. Nothing but the tooth. Okay, Dean. See
All
you
right.
later.
See you later. Bye.
Yeah, I know.
Hey guys, this is post interview, and I totally forgot to show this pic to Ian. This belonged to Michael Sadler. He played at this on his bass in the concert when we saw Saga and Brock University, 81, I think it was, Worlds Apart tour. My brother happened to run up on stage and give something to Michael Sadler. I can explain what that is in a minute, but and then Michael gave him this pick, and of course my brother gave it to me because I was the musician in the family. Although he wanted to be a musician, he kind of liked bass. So, but anyways, there it is. Still have the pick, Michael Sadler's pick. His DNA's on there, so we can make a clone in another 100 years. We'll save that. If anyone needs another singer for their band, we can have a Michael Sadler clone created from this pick. So, anyways, the reason my brother was handing something to Michael Sadler was, of course, Saga had amazing album art covers. It's very science fiction, of course. My brother at the time was doing tons of science fiction fine art. In this particular case, it was fine art ink drawing, and it was a kind of a soldier running around, looks like on a moon or something, with ruins all around him, and he's got a laser gun shooting a laser. He's kind of got a helmet on. Very cool. I'm sure the guys in the band actually probably thought it was a pretty nice piece of art. My brother was hoping to get to do a Saga album cover. That was his dream. So I'm sorry I didn't get to bring that up with Ian and put it in the video, so I thought I would add this at the end. So this is the little bonus content. Thanks for watching. Talk to you all later. Bye now.
All right, it wasn't scary. Oh, time to go now, kids.